MTN is the largest indigenous telecommunication company in Africa. In an industry dominated by Western giants such as Vodafone and Telefonica, MTN has the largest mobile network subscribers of over 260 million across 21 countries. For many subscribers across the continent, the yellow square is more than a mobile network. It has become a bank where they save, send and borrow money, and a livelihood. In some towns and villages in Africa, MTN is the only available network, owing to its heavy infrastructural investments over the years. These investments have led to a large market share of more than 50% in countries such as Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda, just to mention a few. But none of these markets compare to the most populous country in Africa, Nigeria, where MTN generates 1/3 of its global revenue with a market share a little below 40%. But how did MTN become synonymous with mobile telecommunication or mobile communication in Africa? The year was 1994. This was after the implementation of the GSM protocol in South Africa. A group of South African investors, led by businessman and entrepreneur Pufuma Nhleko, came together to form a consortium called MCell. Other key members of the founding team will include Ronnie Apeka, Mike Imlegana, and Alan North-Craig. With this newly founded company, Pufuma and his colleagues were poised to compete with the state-owned telecommunications company, Telecom. At this time, Telecom was managing a little over 36,000 active mobile network users under a partnership with Vodafone. During this period in South Africa, mobile phone technology was still in its infancy, and many people were skeptical about the prospects for a new and local player in the market. However, the founders of MCell were determined to confront the challenges of setting up a new business in a relatively new industry to succeed, and they focused on building a reliable and affordable network that would appeal to customers. MCell became MTN in 2002. The company decided to change its name to better reflect its expanding operations beyond South Africa and to create a unified brand across all its markets. The letters MTN originally stood for Mobile Telephone Networks, but the company later rebranded to simply MTN as it expanded its services beyond just mobile telephony. One of the key challenges they faced was the lack of infrastructure in many parts of the country. To overcome this, they invested heavily in building new cell towers and expanding their coverage even in remote and rural areas. This commitment to providing universal access to mobile communications would later become a hallmark of MTN's approach. MTN overcame its initial infrastructure challenges and quickly established itself as a leading player in the South African telecommunications market. In 1998, it became the first mobile network operator to launch a prepaid service, which made mobile communications more accessible to millions of people. That same year, MTN would be listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange as a public company. By this new success in South Africa, MTN began to expand aggressively into other African countries, starting with Uganda in 1998. In 2001, MTN acquired a 60% stake in Telecel Globe, a holding company with operations in 14 African countries. This strategic acquisition enabled MTN to expand its presence in Africa and strengthen its position as one of the leading mobile operators on the continent. Over the next few years, the company continued to grow rapidly, acquiring licenses and building networks in countries across the continent, from Nigeria to Ghana and to Cameroon, just to list a few. One of the key factors behind MTN's success was its ability to adapt to local markets and cultures. The company recognized very early that each country was unique and what worked in one market might not work in another. So, it invested heavily in local partnerships and talent, and tailored its products and services to meet the specific needs of each country. This approach paid off, and MTN quickly became one of the most recognizable brands in Africa. By 2007, the company had more than 40 million subscribers across the continent, and it continued to expand into new markets, including the Middle East. However, like any rapidly growing company, MTN faced its share of challenges along the way. In 2015, it was fined by the Nigerian government for failing to disconnect unregistered SIM cards, which caused a significant public backlash. The company also faced criticisms for its high prices and perceived lack of transparency. Customer service is nothing to write home about in many instances. Despite these allegations, MTN has continued to grow and innovate, and it remains a major player in the African telecommunications market. Today, it has more than 260 million subscribers across 21 countries, and it is continuing to expand into new markets and launch new products and services such as mobile money. Looking back on the history of MTN, it is clear that the company's success is rooted in its commitment to innovation, adaptability, and local partnerships. By staying true to these values, MTN has become a force of positive change across Africa, connecting people, improving lives, and driving economic growth. MTN have made some significant acquisition decisions in the past that have engineered their growth. We have seen that in 2001, they bought Telecom that gave them access to 14 African countries. Also in 2006, MTN acquired Investcom LLC, a leading mobile operator in the Middle East, for $5.5 billion. This acquisition gave MTN a significant presence in countries such as Afghanistan, Iran, and Yemen. In 2014, MTN acquired a majority stake in AfriHost, a South African internet service provider. This acquisition was part of MTN's strategy to expand its offerings beyond mobile telephony and into broadband and other digital services. Also in 2015, MTN acquired Visafone, a Nigerian CDMA operator, for an undisclosed amount of money. This acquisition gave MTN access to Visafone spectrum and infrastructure, which it could use to expand its 4G LTE network in Nigeria. In 2018, MTN acquired Simfy Africa, a music streaming service that operates in South Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana. This acquisition was part of MTN's strategy to diversify its revenue streams and become a leading player in digital entertainment. In 2019, MTN acquired Music Time, a music streaming service that operates in South Africa and Nigeria. This acquisition was part of MTN's ongoing efforts to expand its digital services and provide more value for its customers. The success of MTN can be traced to a few reasons. 1. Early entry into the market. MTN was one of the first telecommunication companies to enter the Nigerian market, having launched its services in 2001. This gave the company a head start in building their brand and network, which helped them to establish a strong presence in the country. 2. Large investment in network infrastructure. MTN has made significant investment in building its network infrastructure in Africa, including the construction of cell towers, laying of fiber optic cables, and upgrading its network technology. This has helped the company to provide reliable and high-quality services to its customers, which has helped to increase customer loyalty and attract new subscribers. 3. Strategic acquisitions. A lot of MTN's success can be attributed to taking over existing telecom companies. The existing customer base of these companies means that they have done the tedious groundwork of a startup, and they are local, therefore understands the market. 4. Innovative products and services. MTN has been innovative in introducing new products and services that cater to the needs of its customers in Africa. For example, in many countries, the company was the first to introduce mobile money services, which has been a game changer for financial inclusion on the continent. The company has also launched other value-added services such as music streaming and video on demand, which has helped to attract and retain customers. 5. Effective marketing and branding. MTN has invested heavily in marketing and branding, which has helped to increase its brand awareness and attract new customers. The company has used a variety of marketing channels, including TV, radio, billboards, and social media, to reach its target audience in Nigeria and other African countries. MTN has also sponsored several high-profile events such as music concerts, talent shows, and sports tournaments, which has helped to further enhance its image and brand across the continent. Staying true to its vision, MTN have diversified beyond its initial mobile telephony business days. Today, MTN Group operates through the following business segments: consumer, business, digital, and mobile financial services. The MTN consumer segment focuses on connecting people across the Middle East and Africa through voice and data services. The MTN business segment focuses on connectivity, communication, and collaboration solutions to SMEs, corporations, and the public sector. It involves cloud, Internet of Things, mobility, managed networks, security, and mobile communication solutions. The MTN Digital Services segment develops platforms in three key areas such as messaging, media, and mobile advertisement. The Mobile Financial Services segment enables people to make financial transactions using their phones and bringing them entertainment and mobile shopping through investment in mobile platforms, apps, and online ventures. MTN have been at the center of several controversies over the years. Here are a few notable ones. In 2015, the Nigerian Communications Commission imposed a fine of $5.2 billion on MTN for failing to disconnect unregistered SIM cards on its network. After several rounds of negotiations, the fine was eventually reduced to $1.7 billion. In 2018, MTN was expelled from Iran's mobile market, which had been a major source of revenue for the company. The expulsion came after the Iranian government accused MTN of corruption and breaching its license agreement. In 2019, MTN was accused of paying bribes to officials in South Africa to secure a lucrative contract to supply airtime to the country's national police force. The company denied allegations, but the matter is still under investigation. Also in 2019, MTN was targeted by protesters in Nigeria who were angry about the xenophobic attacks against Nigerians living in South Africa. MTN's offices and stores were vandalized, and the company was forced to close its stores temporarily. In 2020, MTN was accused of evading taxes in Uganda, which led to a dispute with the country's tax authorities. The company denied these allegations, but the dispute is still ongoing. So from the outskirts of Johannesburg, South Africa, MTN, formerly Mcell, have grown into a global corporate behemoth, employing more than 19,000 people directly and over 30,000 people indirectly. MTN is indeed an African success story, one that has been written by hard work, commitment, and great business execution. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and follow this channel for more corporate profile.